Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back, or welcome to the official Level 2 Podcast, episode 55. I can drive 55.
It's like a highway.
Yeah, it's like highway. My name's Keegan, one half Level 2 Gamers, hanging out with Tom, the other half Level 2 Gamers. I wanted to say something about your hoodie, but I'm just gonna let it go.
Okay. I put it on because my head is cold.
Because you have no hair.
Because I have no hair.
Yeah.
That's.
I don't know if you know
that's really all the
Tom's bald.
science it is. No.
I don't have
Solidarity?
a hood. I don't have a hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loser.
Well, sorry. How you doing, Tom?
I'm good, man.
You're good.
I'm having a great time. I'm
just
loving
wrecked my
having Miss Ezilii here.
Yeah.
With us to talk
Yeah,
about
between us.
all the things that we have been talking about.
Remember, I'm vegetarian.
Twitch.tv/EZILII. Ezilii.
Wow,
Where does that come
you
from?
Remembered.
What is it? Hold
My
on.
husband-
That'll
my
be part of the
husband
conversation
named me.
because we're going to talk about your
Yeah.
past and we're going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about the present. We're going to play a game. If you haven't
Sounds
joined
like-
the official Level 2 podcast before,
Like
yeah, we have.
meta.
Yeah, this is our meta podcast.
It's a metacast.
So if you've never seen Level 2 podcast before, what this is I pick a topic, which is her. We play a game in the middle. Tom picks a topic, which is her, because we don't normally have a guest. And then we'll go from there and kind of
lucky.
just talk. Yeah, you're all the topics. You're all the things. If you're watching this and you have not watched Indie Please I Details on Wednesday, that is Wednesday. I was like, what day is it?
That is
Wednesday.
the day it
And then
goes up.
Thursday is Codename Morpheus, which is our VR podcast that you can check out as well. That was yesterday. If you're watching it the day this goes up. If you're not, it might be a couple of days ago. Or maybe a month ago. Who knows when you're watching. We have people coming on one from like 2 months ago. And it's like,
It's always fun.
my favorite was
That's good. That means people value
coming
the
back.
content.
Well, somebody came back to one of our couch conversations about like the first couch conversation we did about VR, like before it was out, and he said your information's wrong. I want to be like, this is like 4 months old. Actually, it's like a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Well, your response is please check the date.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please go to the most recent video.
I appreciate you commenting,
Yes.
but please check the date.
Yeah. But anyways, let's jump
It's a
in.
cordial.
Well, I mean,
I think you said it was a porn joke, but
No.
you said cordial.
I thought he said cornhole.
Well,
I'm just going to stop using words today.
Words.
let's jump
No.
into this. So we're going to start off, and we're going to talk a little bit about your past and kind of how you got to where you are to the Twitch. Let's go to the Wayback Machine.
Wayback Machine?
Wayback
Like,
Machine.
How,
How
far
many pounds
back?
and ounces were you when you were born?
I have no idea. My mom's
You
dead.
don't?
No, I don't.
I don't know either.
9 pounds 11 ounces. I was
the
a
fuck
fat
do you know?
baby. I know how much.
My mom was in labor.
I
9/11.
do know.
My mom was
So
in
I do
labor
know
for a
I was
short time.
born on a Monday, and there was a thunderstorm.
I was born on Christmas Day, and I was the first baby born that day, which means I got the best cot in the hospital.
I was born on March 12th.
Boring ass.
I was
over
well.
here.
So
She
my
was
mom-
born
well,
under the thunder
so
god.
Fun fact.
I was born under
Well,
Santa.
I came. The story was always I came into the world thunderously. You know.
There you go.
My mom was in labor for a short period of time with me. Like I came out so fast that my dad was not even at the hospital by the time he got the call. Like I was out by the time my dad got to the hospital.
Like an Asian ping pong show.
Yeah.
Just
Apparently my sister was not as easy, so I made it. My mom said I made it up for the rest of my life though.
There you go.
So but let's talk about you. Let's
Talk about you.
let's talk about
baby.
you. Let's talk about me. Don't know that's how that
I feel
song
a
goes.
song somewhere.
Yeah, there's a song in there somewhere I can't find.
Copyright.
But we want to talk about a little bit like you're on Twitch.
Yep.
I feel like how long you've been on Twitch? Let's start there.
God. As a viewer since like 2013.
What about as a creator? When did you
As a
like
content
I'm
creator?
gonna Twitch stream?
Because
Because everybody lurks first, I feel like.
well,
Lots of people do.
I mean, anybody who
Anybody's-
is curious about what the platform is would lurk, right?
I'm still
I would like. Well, it's like you do research.
I feel like I remember you coming to work and telling us about your first one.
So, I had long story short. May of 2016, I got alpha for Legion, World of Warcraft Legion,
This means nothing to me.
and well, it's the latest. It's the latest. The expansion.
Cool.
And my class and my role as a healer and a discipline priest was very under the microscope of we're going to change it to where it flows better with everybody else. And I had previously been to a BlizzCon where I spoke to the dev team that's responsible for the synergy of classes working together, and I participated in the discussions, and I took it upon myself to make sure that they had somebody who knew how to play the class to provide them feedback and to actually do it without them telling me to try to do this. Well, no, I want to do it organically so they see the gameplay and see how it meshes with other things. So I started streaming that very irregular schedule. But it had dawned on me that the world needed more.
The world needed more you.
Right.
Well, I mean, needed more Warcraft.
No, especially the movie.
I pitched it. Oh, I liked the movie, but I
didn't. But I also don't play WoW, so I have no
right.
connection
I
to
mean,
it.
you have to have like
somebody who's coming in with no experience with World of Warcraft outside of a day and a half of playing with Easy.
It's like, well, why did they change Lord of the Rings so much?
Yeah,
it's pretty much.
I don't like Lord of the Rings either. So
he's not good with swords and shields and things like that.
No, it's magic.
No Dark Souls 3.
No, I played Dark Souls 3 before Jordan did, though, at Wizard World 2016. They were there, and Jordan was pissed because I played it before him. I couldn't get past the first enemy I encountered, but I played it. I died a lot of times.
Anyways,
but I started. So I had my first stream in May, but like I wasn't doing it for content creation. I was doing it to give
for funsies.
Well, to specifically give feedback to the devs because I would do it. I would play. We were in a group. I would look to get different types of tanks and get different types of DPS, because the role of a discipline priest is you heal through damage, and if I'm out damaging somebody, there's a problem, especially if they're a DPS. Like if they're a hunter, they have no thing else to do besides do damage. If they're a druid, they could definitely heal or tank or whatnot, right? So there's this synergy. So I wanted to give them logs. I rated with high-end guilds. You know, it's not like...
Were the developers in the chat on the Twitch thing? Okay.
Yeah. They were in the chat, but I also would just play it when they weren't there, and then I would just send them a link to the VOD and
like, here you go,
in email. Like, yeah, here's this.
Here's the gameplay.
Because they could see. So there was a few. There's a few mods.
They understand how to play the game to a certain extent. Like obviously they built it. So they
it's about level design. Like you could design a great level, but somebody is going to find a way to defeat that level a way that you didn't think you could design.
Oh, I do that all the time. First thing I did in Horizon Zero Dawn was I broke the game.
Yeah.
So
my goal was to break the game, but then, you know, I started thinking, well, maybe there's more to this. When my mother was ill, I used Twitch a lot because I could get up and leave and then escape for a little bit and come back to it and just like kind of block some things out. You know, when you take care of somebody, you see some not so things that are nice. But I decided that some of those communities had changed to the point to where I couldn't really like do that anymore, and I wanted to make sure that I provided a community that would do that.
Because you're I don't want to call it a shtick because that's not the right word, but your thing on there is positivity. Like you what's your slogan thing, or whatever you want to call it? Your tagline.
It's a dose of positivity.
That's it.
Is something that it just like came out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, I love tacos, but I never knew that tacos would be like a big thing on my channel.
Taco cats.
Taco cats, right, is definitely like a meme. It's an emote. We had Emilio the taco, the blow-up taco pool raft that I used to assign sub names to. You know, somebody would subscribe, I'd write their name on the taco. We filled the taco up. And
where did you find the taco?
Actually, one of my mods gave it to me when they were in town when we did Pixel Pop.
Awesome. It's a local
They used
game
to work.
con.
Yeah, they
Local
used
con.
to work at. Well, they worked for the summer at a place in Nebraska, and they drove down. But they're like a whitewater adventure place. You jump into the river.
Whitewater raft.
Yeah, but it's like canoeing and kayaking
Yeah.
and rafting.
Have you ever whitewater rafted?
No, I'm wondering
It's
about
so
our
fun.
Instagram thing, because we had a random Instagram follower by a kayaking company.
It was
we
New
never
Orleans.
figured it out.
It
Oh,
was
that
New
was New
Orleans.
Orleans?
It was New Orleans.
All right, different kayaking company.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there's
I don't-
Nebraska.
yeah,
I don't
they
even
love
think the
everything we did
company.
for them.
I don't even think the company has like an Instagram.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But it's popular. I mean, they don't really need it to that extent. But he saw it at the general store when he went into town to buy his provisions.
Said you need
for a
this?
week.
Common
And
thing to
he's
find
well,
in a
it's
general
like
store.
it's like it's on sale. It's
Giant
$5.
taco.
It's
I mean,
like
how
a
many stupid
giant
things have you bought in
taco.
your life type thing? Like,
Well, it's
this
like
is
there's
dumb
a
enough.
unicorn onesie at Target for like $5. Buy it.
Oh, why don't I have this in my life?
Well, I mean, you just see stuff.
Tom,
like,
we're
I'm
talking
gonna
about
buy it.
cosplaying. We should cosplay that. Cosplay is a unicorn.
As a giant unicorn.
My brother, I have a video of my brother in a unicorn onesie on stage with Family Force 5, which is a band that played. We were in front of about probably 20,000 people. I was wearing a giant blue bear head. He was wearing a unicorn onesie.
Interesting.
Yeah, they asked us to do it, and I was like, as long as I can cover my face.
Sure.
I don't want people to know who I am.
But I count July 2016 as like
When you started.
And then you were purely doing it for the focus of trying to improve the game of World of Warcraft.
Right. So like between
for the
May
developers.
and July, I was like, I'm full on trying to make sure that they know this is how somebody who they've looked to for logs to get logs on my performance, that hey, here's somebody who plays this game
And,
at a
did
different
this
level.
purely come out of you talking to them at BlizzCon, or was this something that you had like emailed about? Or
It came out of talking to them at BlizzCon,
okay,
but then I got the key. I was like, well, I might as well, because I didn't do I really have time to play this game? And I happened to just have gone part-time. Like I went part-time in like October, so it was like perfect. Like 6 months later, you're in a different position than what you were 6 months before, usually.
so how do you go from that to actually building a following and then playing different games?
And and the other follow-up question kind of on that is, how did you choose what to play? Is it games you liked, or is it like, because people
If you play a game you don't like,
will know.
I'm not going to watch you.
Yeah, people will know. I've learned that.
Right. Don't play a game you don't like. And, people will also take like a sponsorship. Like somebody will say, hey, I'll pay you, $5 per viewer for 3 hours to play my game. But if you're all mopey,
And don't
nobody's going to watch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, so how did you...
But that really didn't, I guess, answer the question.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did you turn into...
Because I remember you
getting
coming
started?
to work.
Because we used to work together.
Yeah, this like side note, we used to work together, and
Like
you would come in,
everybody that's
and
on
you
this
would
show.
say, you would say, dude, I had like 2,000 people
I
watching last
remember
night, or whatever.
I posted a picture of 60 viewers.
And you were like, pumped.
I was like, what the hell? Like, nobody knows. How did this happen?
Well, you rated or something, or did it show up?
They just showed up.
Because we've had peaks before, like One Shot Girls rated us and we hit over 100, but that's because of a raid, not because of just showing up.
Boom. I'm like,
There you
okay,
go.
was that
sweet.
Was that the taste? Was that like you saw the 60 views and you're like, ooh, I could do this? And then you were
Well,
like-
so like, I get a natural high,
okay,
which is why I can't stream at night, because I'll never go to bed.
okay,
Because you're wired.
Right, because I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I get to talk to people. People are really cool. As much as people say, oh, well, there's trolls on the internet, but there's also good
There's
people
amazing
on the
people.
internet.
I mean, I'm sure you're the same way, but like for us, our mods, we're hoping to meet Blue's hoping to go to Indie PopCon, so we meet him in person. But
great.
James DeGrotto, as you met him,
Right.
We met him through the internet. And
Right.
Amazing dude. So
Canadian.
I have
Yeah,
a
he's
photo of a group of us at PAX West
Mm-hmm.
around this large table. Everybody there, besides one person who I was staying with,
you
I
did,
knew through the internet.
which is crazy.
And I brought all of them together. And this year that table is going to be bigger.
Tom met
And
his
that's
wife
like
through the internet.
crazy.
I did.
Well, I met my husband through WoW.
Yeah.
The internet.
Yeah,
Makes the
power of
world
the internet.
smaller, right?
It does. It's
But
scary sometimes.
But to answer your question, how did I pick the game? They're games that I love, or at least City Skylines, and then Planet Coaster came out. I was like, oh, I really love this, and then Sims I really like too, because I could do an element of storytelling.
Did you murder your Sims? Did you ever take the...
I did once by
The
accident,
ladder
and then
out
I
of the
tried.
pool?
Well, and then I tried to take in Sims 4. They jump out of the pool
That's not fair.
unless you could get them to swim until they're completely exhausted, and
Can you
sometimes
put
you have
bricks
to.
around the pool so they don't?
No,
jump
it
out?
doesn't actually let you. Well,
Oh.
when I tried on that part before I knew how to do a specific cheat code, I couldn't do it.
I
But-
distinctly remember you telling me at Pixel Pop about a Sims reality show
Yes,
you were working
I
on.
did. I did Sim's Sister, which was a take on Big Brother.
Right.
6 months later, I was unaware that somebody had done it. I was like, oh, cool. So it's not completely new,
Right.
but we did it completely different. Because I did Sim's Sister, and they did. There's like a Big Brother challenge. And I was like, you type in Big Brother, you see people on conspiracy theories and TV shows.
Right.
You don't see Sims. And
Conspiracy theories and TV shows. I like
well,
that.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, right?
That is the truth.
But like, so you did. I didn't see it, and that's cool. That's awesome. And I did season 2 over the holidays, where we built the house.
So you
we
actually,
put
like,
subscribers to it.
Did
We kicked people
seasons
out
as well, because that's weird.
So
to
I did
me.
season 2. I'm still like trying to edit it because lo and behold, there's always a technical issue, and it's like, well,
Tom knows nothing about that with the impatience.
now I have to
14 minutes
re-record
in.
parts.
Yeah.
So I'm going through re-recording things.
I
But
recorded 2 hours of one of the scariest VR games ever yesterday, and the footage corrupted after 10 minutes. And I didn't notice until I took the headset off.
what
that it did
what
corrupt.
codec? Because I'm told do it in WebM. If you can.
It was direct to
It's through Elgato.
Elgato.
So I
So
think
it
it's
saves
H.264.
as an MOV, right?
Yeah, H.264 MOV.
Yeah. But it was
Pretty sure.
Yeah, but it was actually the
I'd
VR
check.
headset that corrupted it, because you know that thing that happens sometimes with VR where like you
go
select
out of
the
VR?
cable wrong and then it
Oh,
goes like all
yeah.
weird. That had happened, but in my headset it was still clear. On the TV it was going weird. So
You
it
just need a new VR
It was
headset.
so frustrating. Yeah, maybe I do.
The VR
Anyway,
2.0.
back to
Save your
you.
pennies.
This is me just like talking shit. So okay, so
Well, technical problems are
you
a
pick
thing
games
of
that you
the-
love. You told us on Indie Please Add Details on Wednesday that you have played every Sim City from the dawn of time, and so obviously God games are your thing. I call them. I don't know if you call them something different, but
It's kind of a macro builder.
okay. And then that becomes your niche, so to speak. How do you fall into that as a niche? And then when was it when you realized that was the go-to thing? Because for me and him, like,
Took us
we've
like 2.5 years.
We've tried a million things. We always play stuff we like for the most part, but like it took us a while to kind of land on VR and indie as our thing, because we figured that we did it better than most, and that those communities needed the support way more than like a Activision or whatever. So how do you get to that point where like that becomes your thing on Twitch?
Well, it's important to note that City Skylines has an amazing community.
Okay.
Like, there's people that mod the game. There's people that build assets for the game. There's people that play the game all the time.
I go through. That's the only game I'll
sharing
go through the
all
workshops
of
and just see
their
what's in there.
screenshots.
Yeah.
There's like Facebook groups, Reddit groups.
And Cities itself is good about sharing stuff too. Like I found lots of things from this official City Skylines Twitter and or Facebook page.
Yes, and they've shared me too.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
It's awesome.
So you find
Like, you wake up and you're like,
you're like, what happened?
what's that number?
So
What? 5 what? Who? But they already have like a community. They have an established community. But sometimes they don't have people that can answer questions, which goes back to what I used to do. You know, I used to teach people technology. So I'm pretty good at answering a question like, oh, well, what if you think about it this way, as opposed to just giving you like some, just do that. Like,
So
think about it this
your
way.
use of like training on analogies and
Totally
that type
comes
of
into
stuff.
play.
Wow, never thought about that. That's interesting.
I had the best fortunate job to have the job that I have.
Okay.
Because I never like would
Yeah.
have like I would never have like ever in my wildest dreams have thought,
Right.
oh, well, let's just make something on the internet.
This one
Yeah.
thing would come into something.
I'm pulling
else.
up my game by the way. I'm not trying to like hide away from you, but I gotta make sure I got my game pulled up for later.
Oh
Yeah.
dear lord.
So
It's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah.
I like it. So okay, so you you went from basically showcasing World of Warcraft play of a very specific character build to the Warcraft devs. At some point, you notice that you're getting multiple viewers, like 60 plus viewers on the game, and then I believe you started getting donations at a certain point as well. When did that? Was that for World of Warcraft or was that for?
that was during
Skylines?
Cities.
Okay.
The first donation was in like August.
Isn't it crazy? Like the first one.
How
you
does
get,
that
like,
work
Jesus.
on
I know the
Twitch?
person too.
Because it's a little different for YouTube.
YouTube.
So how does that work on Twitch?
So usually on a live stream you have an overlay, right? That has an alert like, ha,
So you
here's
did
this,
something.
like, here's a follow, here's a host, here's a raid. Now, here's a
that's kinda
tip,
cool.
here's a
I
donation,
saw,
and then
I saw
as
the raid thing. And I was like, ooh.
as affiliates, but before affiliates, there were partners. Partners would get subscribers, and they would also get like bits, which is an on-system currency.
Yeah.
And then affiliate program came out. So now, generally, everybody has the basic level of alerts, and it tells you, hey, you have $25
Felt pretty good.
I flipped my shit.
Yeah.
Like, what? Who? How is this possible?
And
was
why?
that when you started to realize that potentially this could be something that you did more often, or were you still at that point kind of like, all right, maybe it's a one-off, you know?
It was really cool. I had dinner.
Dinner on the guy that was watching?
Right.
Or girl?
Like, cool, thanks. I mean, because there's
you're
a
not-
difference. There's a difference between doing it for the money. Because
Yes.
if you want to make content creation, if you're a content creator and you're doing it for the money, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like plain and simple.
We said had the conversation last week.
Like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
there's
Pretty
no
much,
there's no
yeah.
like that's
You're making the wrong decisions for the wrong, or you're making decisions for the wrong reasons for certain things. Like you mentioned earlier, if you get a game that you don't like and you're playing it, people will know. Same thing. If you're in it for the money and you're trying to just like squeeze as much out of the people you have, they will know.
well,
They will
there's
run
con
away.
artists that will kind of mask that, but then they'll burn out
Yeah.
because it's just so much work.
It is a lot of work for little payback for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like. Yeah, I
Depending on how you
I might
receive
pull about
payback.
80 to 90 hours a week working.
That's crazy. That's double, like
Yeah.
a normal job.
week.
But at the same time, what you're doing in of itself is a joyous thing to do. I suppose you don't really feel like you're working when you're playing City Skylines. There's an extent of like the other
Well,
stuff.
when you're on the front page of Twitch, you're definitely
Well, that's
working.
what I mean. There's like the other stuff that comes in later that maybe you have to actually feel like, okay, I got to get this right and this right. But like when you're actually in the moment, when you're just like sat there like making your pyramid toilet or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Pyramid
That's
toilet.
that's a
Okay, I'll
joyous
send
thing.
you a clip
Thank you.
so you could
Cool.
show.
We'll put it behind you.
Yeah, I'll totally do
Yeah.
that. But there's like a certain amount of, you know, just kind of like joy that you get out of sitting down and playing a video game. It's escapism. It's for you. It's like you love to build things and you love to teach people to build things and kind of spread that.
Use it as an art.
So you get to because kind of the first part of this podcast, what we wanted to talk about was like how do you go from a retail job that you were in with both of us that we're still in and you're not because you've made it past that. You've got to a point now.
I took a jump.
You took a jump. You took a hell of a
I
jump.
took a.
Probably was
A leap
terrifying.
of faith.
Well,
Assassin's
okay, so
Creed
I left.
style.
I left that day, and I cried. It's like, wow, this is like what the fuck
you'd
did
been
I
there.
just do?
You've also been there a long time too. On top of everything.
That was 13 years.
Yeah, I was
when
gonna say
left.
you'd been there a while.
So 13
What's
years
today's
at
date?
one job. It's the 30th.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're recording it on the 30th
Yeah.
because February.
But 13
I think it's a year ago today.
13 years at one job.
I
to
haven't
then
even
just
I haven't even stayed in
jump
the
out
same
of that.
city for more than 4 years, 5
Yeah.
years, 6 years, 6 years.
Like what possessed you to take that risk? You know what I mean?
Well, what possessed me was I saw the future to an extent on where my particular role was going. I was like, I could do better somewhere else. Like I could reach more people. I could teach more people. I could get my hands involved in something and to make a difference in somebody's day with their technology. Unfortunately, the startup doesn't. I mean, it exists, but it's not the same that it was started out to be.
Right.
And so consequently, I was laid off because it's not enough work. Why
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
you
'cause
want
you
to
went-
pay an employee?
Because you went from a 13-year solid job, you went part-time, and then you left completely and went to another similar natured job, talking about teaching technology.
I read a quote from Steve Jobs, and I said, "This is it."
What was the quote?
It escapes me now, but it's basically along the lines of do something that you love.
Okay. So you went to go do something that you love, and then you got laid off.
But I was currently doing something else that I loved
True.
at the same time.
So was it just like so when you got laid off from the second job, you were still doing Twitch
I was
more
still
at that point?
I was doing Twitch more. Okay,
It was like
so
half.
so the very first thing you want to do is establish a schedule, and I was doing stuff at night, and I was staying up till like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and having to be at work at like 9.
I don't wake up.
And well, yeah, I mean, it made it a little more difficult, and then I'd rush home because I would still be scheduled full time, even though I'm part time. It's like how I would like a shorter day,
Yeah.
not a long day.
Yeah, you want a half shift, not a full shift.
Right. I mean, I don't mind working 5 days, but if it's 5 days for 6 hours, great, awesome, nice. Let's do it. But it was 4 days,
Full shift.
sometimes 5, with like a 7 or a 9-hour shifts, where because you have the hour for lunch. So it was, kind of messy. A lot of my life boils down to very significant things that happened in my life. And I lost my father on Christmas. That's the day I decided I was going to leave Apple.
What was the decision-making process there?
Because he would always say, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. It wasn't any fun anymore.
Hey, that sounds familiar. We said the exact same. That's about our channel.
It's on his gravestone.
That's legit our slogan for this channel. That's what we built this on.
We've said since day one. If it's not fun, it's not worth doing.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's
serendipity.
That is how you should live your life.
So
unfortunately, we put things like money in the way. Like
Of
you
that.
have to have a house. You have to
live.
You
I
have to be
get
able to
that.
eat
I totally
food.
get it. I totally get it.
You
I'm
know-
not doing content creation for money because believe me, I could probably make more just working somewhere else. But I'm able to make my ends meet.
Yeah, you still have to pay bills.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. Is you still got to be able to live. And we mentioned earlier.
I don't have to live in a 2,000 square foot house.
Yeah.
It's modest at 1,300 as it is. We don't even use half of it.
We mentioned with the YouTube policies. I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, but like people
last week.
Yeah, last week. People that said they make a living on YouTube if they have under 1,000 subscribers are lying to themselves. You can't make.
They're lying to everybody.
Yeah, you can't make enough money. Most people cannot make enough money to support themselves under 1,000 subscribers or under 4,000 watch hours.
You make maybe $2.
Right, because
a month.
the revenue from ads would be totally
stupid low. Like you're not allowed to say CPM, but our CPM is nowhere near enough to make a living. That's why
Ends meet.
we're still here.
Yeah.
right. I mean, and
Working full-time.
that's like
That's life.
yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where when you look at the big picture, you still have to make ends meet. You have to make, like you said, you made a leap of faith, but you also mentioned, I can't remember if it was on camera or off camera, but you have a husband that had a backup.
I definitely
you had
have
support.
there's two income households.
Yeah, so you're good there. Like for
we
me,
flipped roles. Like when we first were married, I was making more money.
you sound like my mom.
He's also
She
10
did the
years
same-
younger than me.
She did the same thing.
So he's got more work life
Ahead
left.
of him.
How does he feel about it? Is he okay with it? Being the
I
breadwinner?
think he likes it.
think so?
I mean, I don't. We don't talk like breadwinner or anything like that.
Right.
But I mean, it was a little touch and go. Like when I got laid off, like that was like maybe
Scary.
$400 a month that could really like benefit us. You know, we make a decision: do we go see this movie or do we eat for a week?
Yeah.
Well, we'll eat for a week,
Yeah.
right? So we won't go see the movie, but we have Netflix, so we'll catch it like 6 months later,
When it comes out on there,
right?
Yeah.
So you just made smart decisions monetarily until you
Right,
were
and just like put the
in a
brakes
better
on some
place.
things.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to go out to eat. We're not going to do this.
real bad at that.
We're gonna knuckle down. Like just like stop spending extra money.
Do you know Dave Ramsey? I'm going through Dave Ramsey's thing right now. You live like no one else, so you can live like no one else. That's his phrase. So you live now within your means. So when everybody else is paying off their debt, you can live outside your means because you stayed within your means and you've got money saved up.
Right,
That's
and
what they- that's
that's
what he
important
phrases
too. But I mean, also like if I made a ton of money that I just couldn't spend, one, I'm the type of person that would just give it like to charity because I can't take it with me wherever.
To the grave?
Right. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll leave it to my husband, but
Yeah.
he's of the same mindset that
What's the point?
right, you
Yes,
can't.
I don't want to be.
You can't take it.
I don't want to be old with a gigantic pension when I'm too old to enjoy the things that I have built up that money for.
Yeah.
That's kind of the weird part that I'm in because I know that when you're old, obviously it's hard to sustain.
If I'm 80
yourself.
and making content stuff, you know, I'm still making
happens.
content,
It
which it's
happens.
going to happen.
yeah,
Now I can fly at 80. I probably can't.
Yeah, that's like grandma. She doesn't fly anymore.
so it's it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? When you're relying on all of your money for retirement and then you don't retire till you're 65, 70,
And you can't do
then
anything.
like you're too old to enjoy the money anyway. So like there's a certain extent of like living in the now that I think comes into it. That's why I love your dad's quote.
I think it's more. I think it's more like our younger generations are starting to see that because we see our parents going through stuff. It's like my mother's 401k what? She didn't have a chance. Like,
Yeah.
it's done,
Gone.
right?
Yep.
It's like,
Any one of us could get hit
Wow.
by a bus tomorrow, and then all of this would be worth nothing. So there's a certain extent of
however, if
carpe
you
diem,
create content,
you will live forever.
right?
Yeah,
Smart.
everything stays on the internet. I've learned.
Yeah,
Yeah, all the stupid shit I've said over the years is on the internet somewhere.
until our government shuts it down.
Yeah.
But so let's continue with the story.
Totally
so,
meta conversation.
Oh yeah. So your father passed away, and then you got the urge at that point to just let go and just be like, okay, I'm gonna live by his motto, and I'm gonna try this. How did you start? Like, what was your like? Did you sit down and go, okay, I'm gonna try and make a living off this, or did you just do it until you realized that you could? And what was that process like? Was it like, did you start setting yourself a schedule of, I'm going to start streaming for this many hours this day, or was it just kind of sporadic until it became consistent?
So while I was still working retail, I always had Wednesdays off. So I always streamed at 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. So I already had an established schedule. Even if it's one day, that's the schedule. So if I stream outside of that schedule, I could say, "Oh,
bonus.
this is a bonus stream. I'm
Which is
always
what-
here on Wednesday."
Which is what we do. We have Sundays as ours, and then
Right,
everything
and
else
you,
outside
like
that is
if
bonus.
you get something extra, awesome, great. Hello, thank you for being here. I stream on this day. Thank you for that follow. I appreciate it. So that one day kind of turns into other things, and I really liked starting my day off in the morning. The games that I play tend to be much larger overseas, particularly Europe, as opposed to United States. United States, we really love the shooters, or like really super duper deep competitive play. And Europe seems to be more of the builder sim type thing,
Euro Truck.
I was going to say Euro Truck
right?
Simulator.
Which I
Off the top of my head
have, and I
immediately.
haven't played yet.
What's the other? What's the American Truck
American
Simulator?
Truck
Like the
Simulator.
main American version that I played wasn't very good at it. I ran into a wall.
Oh Lord.
Yeah,
Um,
tried to control it.
It's
It
just
didn't
his
work.
general driving ability in real life.
Hey, I've never been in an accident,
That's true.
I hope you knocked on wood.
You did get a speeding ticket on the way to record one day.
and on the way home from Indie PopCon.
Yeah.
No, was it Indie PopCon?
It wasn't Indy, no. Because I was in your car on the way home. We didn't get a speeding
I got
ticket.
one. I got one in Illinois. I don't remember.
It might have been from when you were by yourself at Indy PopCon.
Yeah, that was it. It was the first year I did Indie PopCon. I got one, and I was pissed.
Anyway, he's a
Whoops.
bad driver. So
Terrible,
I'm a
terrible.
fa-
Just do not learn how to drive.
I'm a fast
then.
driver, not a bad driver.
So
Didn't hit anything.
Okay, so continue. In terms of you.
So I had a schedule,
You had your schedule Wednesday.
and then as it turned out, I was negotiating when and how I would work and how I would schedule myself to train other people with the startup. Like they'll call me, so I'm basically making my own schedule. So I was thinking in the back of my mind, I would stream in the morning and then go teach somebody in the afternoon, because most people will like go to work, and then a lot of people that work for themselves will take kind of an afternoon off. They'll wake up, they'll get all their stuff, they'll kind of relax a little bit in the afternoon. Perfect learning time. Maybe do some wrap up stuff to be ready for the next day after maybe dinner, and then they'll play.
Okay.
Because when you work for yourself, you could schedule it in bite-sized chunks, and it's a lot easier to manage your day. Whereas if you're working for somebody else, you're always like,
On their schedule.
you have this schedule to do, you have to do this, you have to do this, and you leave here, do not stay past this time, ever. Get the heck out of my establishment. So it's very fluid, and I wanted basically to wake up, have my coffee, have my breakfast, have a chat, get stimulated as far as like thinking about things, and then go see somebody to teach them, and then come home. And I was expecting to maybe stream a little bit in the evening, but
So how do you go from
Why?
evening streams to morning streams? Like what? I know you said like that a lot of your audience is international, and obviously they're more lively in the morning because for them it's more like afternoon. But like what? Because 8 a.m. for an American
It's
streamer,
early.
like there's not there. I
there are
don't
people
picture
in the
there-
United States that start streaming at 4 a.m.
just to catch
Pacific.
the European people. Or?
Yeah.
God, that's so weird to me. Because I was thinking,
But
like,
there's Europeans that will start streaming at some crazy time
to catch Americans.
to
Yeah.
catch Americans.
I know when Amy lived in England, she would do weird hours because she would do it based on American time. So she'd do it later for her, so it's
Because I
Earlier for
feel
us, 'cause
like,
she's 6 hours
you know,
ahead,
if you're
5
over
hours.
here, and obviously, like, a lot of your audience is going to be from over here. Like, when you, because that's just how generally, like, it gets, I guess, broadcast to more people here in some way. But you're doing a daytime early stream. Most other people that don't get to be Twitch partners are at work or doing, you know, their normal day-to-day stuff. So are you like reliant on those international viewers until the Americans are done or they're in lunch or something, or was it just kind of that there are certain people that will go out of their way to watch you regardless of what they're doing?
So I tend to keep a very clean stream, right? I don't usually burst out into like rage or something.
Unlike
That
us.
damn road won't fucking go there.
That's when you
So I don't generally
that's when
like
you wrote Anarchy.
pour on this. Well, right. It's Control A, and then now I could do this, and
you put a
then
road through a
it
building.
works, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very work safe. So people do tune in while at work, and we've had this discussion because somebody just said that they had blocked Twitch. I was like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like now you can't like talk to your friends. You can't take that 5-minute break to like think about what you need to do in the coming hour by just saying hello to somebody, and somebody just randomly says something that sparks that thought in your head, which is why radio is powerful too. So I liken it to being, you know, a morning radio show where you could get a little bit of, like, we always talk about how somebody's day is. Sometimes there's a little bit of news because earthquake happens. People feel it, or like, oh, did you hear about this earthquake in Alaska? And I'm like, what?
Yeah. No.
No.
Do you stay away from religion and politics?
I tend to, but I will go on a soapbox, and I will just lay down the law, like, this is how it's gonna be, and this is the end of the discussion. And I mean, it's not you, like, if you hear me talk, I'm definitely very liberal, right? I was a staff designer, like a volunteer staff designer for Bernie Sanders, so it's not like, oh my goodness, and you have like a shirt.
I do have a shirt. I also...
Don't talk over there, Tom. They can't hear you. Wait till you sit down.
Found this at a random
Yes.
event.
That is actually mine.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Show it to the camera in case you haven't seen it.
Feel the
So
burn.
if you've seen this like design of the Bernie Sanders glasses and hair, Deb's made that, and it just ended up on like a bunch of his merchandise. 'cause a really neat design.
It's given for their royalty usage.
It goes with my Bernie doll.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta love the guy.
There you go.
But this isn't a politics show. We gotta find young blood, et cetera, et cetera. We have to be real about this.
Yeah.
We can't just think that he'll live forever.
Well,
sadly.
hopefully he will. But
But-
no, you're right.
But I do steer away from politics and religion. We generally just don't want it to mix because I wanna know the person on an individual level. I don't really care like their theology or their political. Like, it doesn't matter. They're a person. They're a
also
friend.
for
They're awesome.
entertainment purposes too, and usually politics and religion turn into arguments versus entertainment. That's the way I look at it. Like for us, like I've always told Tom, like we've dabbled in it and we've had conversations about it, and like we'll touch on certain things. If it's something that affects the industry, we'll talk about it. But outside of that, we try to get around it.
There's a lot of
Right, but I'm also smart enough to think for myself and not just like toe a party line. Like if it's stupid, it's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, occasionally, especially when like November, just this past November, and then there's always like the special elections that are going on, and people bring it up. It's like, we don't do that here.
Because I was just wondering, because, you know, the whole dose of positivity thing, and like I feel like that's something you'd have to steer clear of because it's such a vitriolic.
Yeah, but I could be
neighborhood.
positive about, hey, we have health insurance now.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but I clearly steer clear of it because I don't have an American audience. I have a global audience and a global community.
And they may not know American politics.
Well, they'll tell me stuff I don't know.
I feel like
Because
honestly,
they get
globally,
different news.
America is definitely, people will follow American politics closer than they'll follow their own country. I did. I never knew what the fuck was going on in England,
I don't follow any
but I knew what was
politics.
going on over here before I came over.
I let them tell me in like
Yeah.
Discord.
Right.
We have a channel. So in my Discord, we have a channel called Vent It, where you just spout any. Like, this has got me really upset
Go.
word vomit.
Yeah.
Right.
Where what is said in that channel stays in that channel. I don't care who you are. If you're yelling at somebody in it, then maybe we have to have a discussion with the community mods to figure out what's going on. But if you're like mad, you know, there's a couple community members they're going through stuff. They need to get it out, and then they have community members that jump in and give them support. And that's exactly what the community's for.
That's like, I do that with Kind of Funny. Like that community, it's funny because there's primarily video games, but there was...
Funny?
But there's one the other day, there was a post specifically, and I won't say the person's name, but they posted, basically they just lost both parents in a car crash. And obviously that's a very traumatic event. And he's like, I don't know where else to go. I just need somebody to talk to.
Right.
And the community, like, that post was the #1 post for like 3 weeks of just people rallying around this dude and saying, hey, where do you live?
I got your back.
Yeah, where do you live? Let's
Like,
go hang out. Let's go get beer. Let's
can
go
I
do
get
something.
you, like, can I PayPal you
Yeah.
a little bit of money to, like, go treat yourself something?
Let's play video
like,
games
that is the
together.
ultimate
Little
goal
things.
of my community, is that we have amassed enough to where if somebody has a bad day, I know money doesn't fix the problems, but it will at least help something, like get your mind off something. Go to a freaking arcade.
Go buy an ice cream.
Go watch
Right.
a movie.
Well, I mean, when you say go buy an ice cream, your mom is dead, have an ice cream. Totally not how you want to say it.
Yeah.
But
But yeah.
the idea is that, well, maybe we can help them with something. Like,
Just brighten your day.
they have
Yeah.
they have an electric bill that they couldn't pay because they had to pay something for somebody else.
expenses.
Here, let's pay that
Yeah.
that bill. Oh, your hard drive went out. Let's get you a new hard drive.
That's awesome.
You know, that is the ultimate goal.
And
is-
that's a good fuel for the positivity of the community in general. That's a good way to kind of utilize your platform. I would say.
like. You need money to live on. I need money to give it to people.
Yeah. Wow. So, getting back to the topic at hand, because I know this is going to run over. It's whatever. So
We know each other, of course it is.
Yeah. So you get to the point where you've moved over now. You're doing it. You start getting multiple people show up at your streams. Then you get affiliated. Tell us about what that was like.
Well, I was one of the first affiliates because they rolled it out. When affiliates came out.
And what is an affiliate for people?
Tom doesn't know.
You don't know what an affiliate
Yeah, Tom
is?
doesn't
No, I
know.
don't.
I've run
Okay,
Twitch.
so
Saturdays.
on Twitch you
And
have
everything. Streamers.
somebody who's starting out,
Yeah.
right?
Us.
Then you have an
Right now.
affiliate, and then you have partners, and
You know that link I sent you the other day that tells you the difference?
they rolled out.
I know.
They rolled out
That's what I'm saying. I
affiliate.
sent you shit for you to read, and not to be like, oh, well, there's.
Well,
the-
okay. So we'll talk about off camera. We'll talk about
Yeah.
some of the things that you agree when you become an affiliate.
Yep.
One of them is that if you stream only to
On
Twitch, unless basically what that means is you can't stream to Twitch and YouTube
Multi-stream.
simultaneously.
Yeah.
Okay.
That means you could
dual
stream on Twitch,
There's a 24-hour
or you
window.
could stream somewhere else. But
Yeah. It
Right,
can't
it-
do both at the same
Content
time.
has to be Twitch
Exclusive.
Yeah.
for 24
For
hours.
that stream for 24 hours.
Okay.
But an
These are things you need to
affiliate,
know.
affiliates unlock the ability for people to cheer, which is with bits.
Mm-hmm.
So you show up to Twitch's front door, you show up to a chat, right? There's a little thingy at the bottom that looks like a triangle. You click it, it says buy bits. Or basically
What are
it says
bits?
cheer.
It's just currency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's not currency, it's on system.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Reddit Gold, kind of. You
Yeah,
spend money on it
maybe.
just
Yeah.
to give it to people to make them feel pretty good, but ultimately
Well-
they can't do anything with it.
Well, except for this
This-
turns back into
money.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yes. So think of it like you're buying tokens for something. Those tokens aren't good until you get the tickets that you then cash in for whatever your prize is.
Well, it's also it's also important that you read the terms of use of those bits.
Okay.
So ultimately, is you're paying Twitch $1.40 for 100 bits, and you cheer to somebody, and if you give them that 100, that works out to be $1.
So Twitch makes 50 cents or 40 cents per
Right.
dollar,
So
essentially.
it's an on platform way to support, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like, well, I'm gonna send them money through PayPal, like,
That's
are they
sketchy.
really gonna put it to use?
Yeah.
Right. It's a little sketchy, and then now suddenly your email, like if you weren't smart enough,
Somebody
your
cash
real
back.
name and your email, and you're like in the witness protection program, you just kind of screwed yourself.
Or cashbacks. I've seen that happen before.
Yeah, that definitely is
it's a thing.
a
keep-
thing
to remember.
that works.
to make sure you don't.
I would prefer to give them bits.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying cashback's like the PayPal, somebody requesting
Right, where
donate a button and they request it back.
Right, and that
causes an issue.
that definitely is a very real
I have a
world
friend that
thing.
went through that, and it was not a fun adventure for him at all.
But it enabled smaller communities to support maybe their favorite broadcaster. So we're talking like communities that were 10 on average. The affiliate guidelines is 3 average viewers, 50 follows, and technically 7 unique streams in 30 days, which is fairly easy to meet.
Yes.
Although sometimes people have a really hard time.
I mean, we've been on Twitch now for what? Not even a month, and we've almost hit it. Granted, we've been lurking, and I've got friends that I've connected with that have followed us. But yeah, we're 45, and we've only been doing it about a month.
Right, and I mean, and discoverability is a thing
Yeah.
that has always been a hot topic on Twitch. Like,
Yes.
well, nobody's going to find you on the bottom, which is other news, view bots, and all that stuff. One, it's against terms of service, but
Yeah.
two,
Well, that's
there's a
like
court case and
YouTube.
stuff.
YouTube has where you can buy views by subscribers to get boosted up, or buy watch minutes on the video, and that used to be the way people would boost themselves up. And in the end of the day, it's not the right thing to do, and it will fuck your channel over.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You'll get shut down
it's
because against terms of service.
right, absolutely, and it should, because you're not ethical.
Yeah, you're not doing it the right way.
But so affiliates are somebody who's making content, usually consistent enough to get at least 3 average, and that's 3 average concurrent, and that's an average, not like, oh, I hit 3 today.
Yeah, it's over.
It's a 3 over time. So if you had a day where you had 0 and a day you had 4, and then you had a bunch of days where you had 1, you still might be sitting at 2.
So the day we had 9 helps a lot.
Yes.
Cool. Because we had
I had 5
what it was.
yesterday.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is good.
In
I
your
deleted
stream.
the video.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, you don't have
Doesn't
to
matter.
keep it.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
No.
Yeah, you don't have to
They don't
keep
go back and
the
look at it. It's
VOD.
live.
Sweet.
Twitch is a live platform.
I couldn't even see where the viewers were. One person in the chat had to tell me how many people were watching.
Yeah, Tom doesn't know
Yeah,
anything
don't.
about live streaming.
You don't ever want to look at the
Yeah.
views.
No. Okay. Well, I'm
No,
You look at the
my
chat.
advice
Couldn't
would
anyway,
be
so-
don't even bother.
Just look at the chat.
You just read chat and say hello and talk
All
to
right,
people.
so then you go from affiliate, which is apparently relatively easy to get as long as you're consistent, right?
Right.
And then you go,
And it's relatively new. It hasn't even
Yeah.
been a year yet.
Okay.
So a year in April.
it's kind of like a boost to smaller channels. Gives them a little bit of something to work
It
with.
gives
Well, you can also subscribe to them now. That's another
right,
thing they
which
have.
that sub button came out
Yeah.
at the end of June.
Yeah, that's a big one because like Twitch Prime. I need to do it next month for you, but I always swap between like 3 different creators with Twitch
Yeah,
Prime.
but
to
never
give
feel like
people-
you have to.
No, I have. So I do it for my friend. Again, I'm a content creator. I understand a little bit of it, but I swap between. There's you, Tube and Monkey, and Geek Etiquette that I kind of just switch between, because and that's assuming I fucking remember to do it because
Well, because it doesn't.
Prime doesn't do it automatically, which
right.
is stupid. Just
Well,
do it over
because
and
they
over.
want you to.
I know.
Be active with it.
I know. I forget though.
Well, you could set an alarm on your phone.
Yeah, I should probably do
Like,
that.
check Twitch Prime.
Yeah.
And just drop it.
Yeah,
I
you should
mean,
do
my
that too, 'cause you
husband
have his
puts it on
Prime.
our channel.
I don't know any of these words.
Yeah, well, there's something you should know about. We'll talk about it after the show, off air. But yeah,
All right. So the last part of the conversation before we move on to the game. So you go, because this part was supposed to be basically talking about how you get from working retail all the way up to where you are now, which is, we checked earlier, around 9,800.
9,825.
Okay, 9,825 followers, because they're
Let me
followers,
double
not
check.
subs, right? On
subscribers and followers
They're
are 2 different things on
followers.
Twitch.
Weird.
Yes.
Okay. So you have
Following is free. Following is love.
Yes.
Okay. Is subscribing not free?
Subscriber you
98.25.
pay.
Subscribing is free.
It's
is,
$5.
Yeah.
That's where
Well,
Twitch
it's $5
It's kind of like
for
YouTube.
the person.
$4.99
Yeah.
or $10.99
Is that like
or
YouTube Red or
$9.99.
something?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where
Well,
the Twitch
it's like the
comes in.
sponsor button
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Okay.
Yep. So now, if you stream on YouTube, there's a sponsor button. It's $4.99, and you.
Which is a very similar platform with Mixer.
Yep.
So Mixer is more similar to Twitch than YouTube, where it's live content.
Mixer's cool because it lets you do multi-streams. I want Twitch to do that without a plugin. Like you could have mine and his perspective on one stream.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's awesome.
So you get.
That used to be fun.
So you're now at
Especially two of
98
us.
and some change, 100 subscribers, which
Oh,
is
more than that. But
damn close to 10,000. And you are recently semi-recently.
Followers, not
Come
subscribers,
from,
Tom.
whatever.
Followers.
Followers makes a
followers.
difference.
As a partner, right? So what do you get, I guess, from being a partner? And it's important to note, by the way, that you did this in a year. You went from 1,000 subscribers to 10,000, almost 10,000
Followers.
Followers.
It's a difference, Tom.
Sorry.
It is. You need to get the verb, especially if you're going to stream on Twitch. It's a big difference.
All right, so you got from 1,000 followers to 10,000
February
followers.
25th of 2017 was 1,000.
And when did you get your partnership?
My partnership was December 19th of 2017.
So like less than,
Less than a
basically just over a month ago.
Yeah, because like last Friday.
Yep.
Wait, no, 2 Fridays ago was the 19th.
Thereabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So what does a partner get you, and how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I've had this talk with some people. So basically, further branding, like
Okay.
emotes. You know, the more actual subscribers you
Describe
get
to me
emotes.
what emotes.
Tom doesn't know shit about Twitch. I don't know if you've realized
Help
this.
me out. Fuck me up.
So
So
you
you have your own personal little emotes?
Yeah.
That
you
helps
customize
brand.
emotes.
That helps brand your channel. An affiliate. It's also important to know
Yeah,
that
you
an
get-
affiliate. I'm
you
gonna
get one, I think, as
you
an affiliate.
emote on my
So
screen.
what is that? Just like a little emoji
It's an icon.
that has
Yeah.
your
You
thing
can
on it?
make a custom one.
Can I see it?
Unable to
custom
load
one.
stickers.
Oh, no.
You make a custom one. So like Wheezy made yours, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can show you.
So you make a custom emote that you can put up. So like for me, one of the ones I do
I'll
with
give you guys
Tube
a
and
copy
Monkey.
to show.
Tube and Monkey has a monkey
stream.
one that I bust out every so often. Because it
Okay.
lets you do it.
So the emotes...
So like, Ezilii wow is me going.
Okay. That's awesome.
So it's just little fun things to engage the community more with
Okay.
branding.
Okay.
Is what it is.
What it does is it helps enforce like branding
Mm-hmm.
or like memes on your channel. Like memes are obviously it's internet
Great.
culture,
Yes.
right? So the more subscribers you get, the more emote slots you unlock.
So for something like for our show, for example, we have a couple things that we go back to time and time again. One is that Keegan, whenever he's talking about anything money related, says, "I'm going to put on my business hat here for a
You
second."
put on a hat with the money sign.
So we could have like a business hat.
Right,
in
so you could
there
have a
for
business
when-
hat, like a
right.
ball cap with a dollar sign or something on it,
So that's neat.
Yeah.
and then people could.
you
spam
really need
it,
to
like,
you need to
when
research.
when you
That
talk about
link I
that.
sent you like 2 weeks ago.
Dude,
you
I
really
sit
should
here
read
and
it.
talk and look pretty. That's all I do. I don't know any.
But you could
But
do
you should.
further things.
Yeah.
So like, not only do you have emotes, but you also. I mean, I can't.
Hoodie.
You can't say everything.
Well, this is Discord.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
this
Come
is
on,
my
you don't even
Discord
know,
partner.
You don't even know your
hoodie.
hoodies,
You're a
Tom.
Discord partner too.
Yeah.
I am a Discord partner. I love Discord.
But yeah, there's some things I know you can't talk about because they obviously have you under. I don't know if it's NDA or whatever the proper. phrase
Well,
is
you
for
could.
it,
So
but there's certain things that
you could go to the FAQ and you could
Yeah.
you could read the
lot of
FAQ,
them.
but there's
Yeah.
like there's internal stuff that I
Yeah.
can't like.
Do
It's
you-
not that I'm
'Cause I
plugged
know-
into.
Yeah,
no,
because I
I'm
know
not.
because I know with like YouTube, once you're verified, you have a direct contact with them. Is that something you can say you have? Like, do you have somebody who not manages your account, but somebody you can go to if you have questions about the
Hello,
platform specifically?
Twitch, hook me up.
Because YouTube has that when you hit 100,000, they have the
Twitch.tv, just the same as everybody else.
cool. So it's like 'cause I know YouTube, they give you direct contact when you're verified because they give you the elite partnership, whatever the fuck they call it.
Well, like right. No, so
Yeah.
one of my good friends who's a huge, much larger YouTube
Mm-hmm.
than I would ever want to be because there would be a lot of work. But he does a lot of City Skylines too,
Mm-hmm.
and he went to PAX with me and whatnot. And he's got like they have a studio in his hometown where they can go and have seminars and they do all
Like
this
the
stuff, which is
YouTube
something that we need to do
space.
here. Not
Yeah.
necessarily get YouTube and Twitch to put a space here, but it's
But
something
make
that we
one.
could definitely do
oh yeah.
Right.
within the community because there's a lot of community. There's a lot of content creators.
Well, we're going to. I'm going
The
to,
Twitch STL.
We're going to our first meetup on the 24th. I've got it off, and he's got it off, so we're going.
Well, I'll be there. I'm
Yeah.
going to be in 2 panels, and I'm sure a million people will be wanting to talk to me because there's a bunch of people coming in town that are like, oh, so we're going to go to dinner and whatnot, and you'll get to meet my friend I'm actually talking about.
Cool.
And I'm going to actually be in
Excited.
Chicago for their meetup on the 10th.
Nice.
So, I mean,
To argue
I like to
about
do the
baseball.
little. Well, nobody there cares. So like,
Like, we
what
were
do you
City
what do you
Skylines.
do?
I don't give a
Right?
shit
It's
about
like,
the Cardinals.
well, I mean, I live here,
Yeah.
so obviously there's a little bit of care, but
I don't care.
Further branding, further emphasis, for there's
You get
a
the
little bit more
icon when you're in
support,
the chat, like you
but
said.
there's a little badge, and sometimes I turn it off, and oftentimes even
So
when it's on, I will tell
you can
it.
toggle that on and off.
Sort of. It depends
Okay.
on if I've given somebody bits at the moment, because
Okay.
I don't have another global badge to hide it. Like
Gotcha.
there was a good luck, have fun badge for a while that I could use
Switch
to
between.
overwrite it.
Why would you want to hide it?
It brings attention to you away from the streamer.
Well,
That's good.
so and and I've turned it off and been told immediately, turn that back on. You've earned it. Yeah, it will turn into a conversation more about me and what I'm doing, and not about who's running the show.
Yeah, I've seen, like, I've been in a stream before where it was Jacksepticeye streaming. Markiplier jumped in chat, and you can imagine what happens then. It's just hi Mark, hey Mark.
But the
Well,
thing,
and that's okay. And yes, I did earn it, and I should show it off. And people are like, "Well, you earned it. You should show it off. This is your thing. You should own it. You're branded now. This is you."
But you're like, this is not my thing that's going on right now.
But you're ultimately responsible for how you respond. So, like, for example, when we did our panel,
Right. So
we
I
had,
don't
like, a
back
back row of like crazy high YouTubers. They were like Gaijin
Gaijin
Gomba,
Goomba.
Frank Gameplays, just like Peanut Butter.
Peanut Butter Gaming.
Yeah, all those guys were there, and they didn't say anything. They just came in, they sat down,
right.
and
They wanted to
watched
see what
us.
you're saying.
Right.
Right. They wanted to
So-
respect you.
So, but people knew they were there. Because
Yeah, because you pointed
you
him
can't
out.
hide your face, right? But also they would have fucking noticed anyway because they all have like green hair and shit.
Yeah.
But like, it's like
Doesn't work with chroma key.
Yeah.
so
Unless you do
that's a
blue.
good point actually.
Yeah.
Never thought about that. So okay, so like in a similar principle, like when you're there, you're kind of bringing almost authenticity, or like if
I
people
accidentally
see
bring
you,
attention to me.
But you also accidentally bring attention to the streamer because they're like, why is Ezilii here? Oh, Ezilii must love this person or must be
Right.
a
Yeah,
fan of this
absolutely.
person, right?
And that definitely, like, it's like two-edged sword. So if I show up to a partner streamer that I know, another partner, we're having there's like a conversation that we're actually having that's kind of coded, like, how's your day? Sweet, let me help you out. But it's not like super secret code, but
It's Morse code.
there's more respect. And in some smaller channels, it's been like, oh my God, you're a partner. Let me talk all about you. And then the stream gets derailed because they're talking about me. And I'm there just to watch them do what
Do their thing.
they're doing and to show support, because they've definitely supported me. And I mean, sometimes it happens and
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't. But you're right. I have complete control of the situation. I can say, well, yeah, I'm going to stream in like 2 hours. That's not really kosher.
Yeah, I hate when people do
Yeah,
that.
uncouth is definitely
I hate,
right.
like, I'm
Well,
more of like, hey, I'm gonna go do my thing and I'll come back.
Don't hate it to the extent that it changes your behavior to where you get upset
'Cause, like, when-
and get mad.
Like, for me, when somebody asks me what I'm doing, 9 times out of 10, I am doing something content-based related, but I'll be like, oh, I'm just hanging out watching TV or whatever. Like, I feel weird being like, hey, I'm editing a video or I'm working on this script.
Well, one case, we had this discussion in Twitch chat yesterday. We were talking about,
it's
etiquette,
like, yeah.
etc. Don't show up in a channel and say, "I'm live now, guys." Like,
That's just
but
shitty.
here's the
anyway.
well, it's like the Microsoft Store showing up in the Apple Store. Hey,
Right,
I got a computer for you.
yeah,
You guys
Well, I'm
see
here
this
because
guy
of
here?
this piece of shit. So thank you.
yeah.
Go away, please. No, if you're in another channel and you do say, "Hey, I'm live now," you're begging, and most people don't respond well to begging, and most people will immediately write you off. I've had some crosstalk in channel where people are like, "Oh, you should watch this person," and I'm like, "I'm live," and I'm like,
I can't watch them now.
yeah, it's like, really, I can't watch them now. But then they showed up in chat and they're like, "Oh, I really like," and then the person that was the subject of the conversation was like, "I'm not really comfortable with this. Please
Yeah.
don't talk about this right now."
Yeah,
And I mean, it's unfortunate that some of that stuff happens, but that's the thing with content creation. And somebody who's new might not know etiquette, but in reality, my community is a community, and if you make content, I want to help support you. And if I could show up and hang out for like 5 minutes, it's either gonna make you cry because I showed up, or
I'm gonna cry next time you show
you're
up.
gonna
by
be
the way.
you're gonna be really you're gonna a lot of people are usually really happy.
Be moved to tears next time you show up. I'm gonna make sure I'm ready to cry.
I mean, it happens, and
ready.
it's great, and I totally appreciate, you know, the direct messages afterwards, like, thank you for taking time to hang out.
One of the things I find interesting, because we get this a lot with, Thousand Faces Cosplay. You're familiar with those people? So I think we're friends with them, and we chat with them on a regular basis outside of, like, online stuff.
Right.
Like, real world stuff. Kind of like you. Like, we're friends, and people are like, oh, you know so-and-so? That's so cool. And I was like, yeah, they're just a person. Like, it's weird when people put, and I've worked with many quote-unquote famous people because I used to work in music.
Right.
And it's just like, yeah, they're a person.
Right, because
cool.
you're filming them,
Yeah,
and like, you have to talk to them. Hey, can you move your shoe, please?
Yeah. But it's one of those
You're
things
on
like,
my cable.
People like, so-and-so, or you met so-and-so. I was like, yeah, they're just normal human being. Like, if I were to have somebody show up in a chat and kind of be like, steal the conversation away as a streamer, I would feel bad. That's why I don't reciprocate it the other way around, where it's like, I don't go to somebody's chat like, oh, look at me. I used to mod for a couple larger YouTubers.
Right. I try. So that is the linchpin there, is the that badge. And I mean, but
I used to mod for a couple of the YouTubers, and it's one of those things where, like, when you're modding, you're there for that person. You're not there to sell yourself to everybody in that chat. Like, that's not what you're there for.
I found myself lurking more often.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people just don't get it. Like, there's so many people, because we get comments all the time from people that are like, hey, you guys should come check out our channel, sub for sub, and that, because sub for sub is huge on
Right, and
YouTube.
that was actually a conversation on Twitter,
Yeah.
where people were making comments on YouTube videos or Twitch videos about, hey, I
Follow
really
for
like your
follow.
content.
Yeah.
Right, and that was like
right.
that was actually a discussion that we had, you know, on Twitter with a
And
bunch
I've
of
always
other
said I'd rather
content
have
creators.
10 very active people than 100 non-active people.
Well, right, you want an
'Cause you
active,
want-
vibrant
yeah.
community.
Yes.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
I want to know everybody, you know. And on the front page yesterday, it's crazy. There's over 300 plus followers that happened in the span of 6 hours, but it was still
know
processing.
all those people when you have 10,000 of them?
When they talk in chat,
Yeah. And if you're
because they all don't show up. If they all showed up,
same
if
time,
they all showed up at the same time, then that's going to be
Yeah.
a really loud chat room.
Right.
Yeah. You probably also have noticed, because I've noticed this too, that people also pick specific channels to chat in. Like, I've noticed certain people will hang in Discord but won't go to YouTube, or will go on iTunes but won't go to Twitter. Like, you find the channels people hang out in, and you'll talk to them separately based on the platform you're on at that time. I'm sure with you it's just a little bit more magnified because you got a bigger reach than we do.
Right. I mean, there's people that like smaller communities. You know, if you are growing, and you're a growing community channel, eventually when you hit a certain mark that people start to feel is uncomfortable and there's too many, you will hear the phrase, "You're too big."
Or you're not paying attention to me.
Thank you for what you've done, but I have to find somebody else now.
Yeah. Which sucks, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
But then they come, like, they'll eventually
Sad.
kind of like, they'll come back and circle, you know, they'll
Check in on
they'll
you.
like
Yeah.
check in.
Well, they'll find a new favorite one to watch, so they're part of
Right,
that.
and then that favorite one will come and find you suddenly, and then they raid you, and then suddenly there's this person that you haven't seen in like 6 months that is in this raid.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, hey.
And it's like, how have you been?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I had this happen. I was like, that is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, that's cool.
Engagement.
I mean, you could engage with that, and it's nice to see somebody who has grown enough to raid somebody, and then somebody who feels more comfortable in a smaller, like, the reason why I work with a small team is that there's less drama, or there's less, you know, it's tighter.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, again, the one I used to mod for, and One Shot Girl, and she got to the point where she had hit 100,000 at the time, or 150,000, and she kind of cut down her mod team because when she was growing rapidly, like, it was one of those things where, like, she's like, I just got to
She
get
needs
people to help.
right.
And then it got to the point she's like, I've got to focus down my group here, and I went to her, I was like, look, I don't have the time to help you out the way you want me to with these standards, so I kind of backed
Right,
away
you
and
said,
hey,
it is okay to
Yep.
to cut me out of
yeah.
this.
So it's a respect thing, though, where a lot of that comes in, is you respect somebody and you understand people have different things that they've got going on. So, like, you're not like, F that person, they left my community because they
No.
think I'm too big.
Why?
It's like,
Why would I?
yeah, exactly. But
Twitch
there's
itself is a community.
But there's people that do that, which is the sad part.
Well,
If you lose one
they
follower,
might not
one
be
subscriber,
successful.
they're like, it's the end of the world to them. And I'm like, I don't care.
We got a guy that got real mad at us the other day in a video. He said this title is misleading, or this thumbnail is misleading.
It is the game art.
And it literally was the game art, and it said 15 minutes of gameplay, and it is 15 minutes of gameplay of that game. And he was like, this thumbnail is misleading, unsubscribe. We're just like, what? Like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, so like as far as like Twitch itself is a community, YouTube itself is a community.
Sometimes they cross-pollinate, which I love.
Well, anybody who's making content should cross.
Yeah, I've used the phrase platform
right now.
Yeah, the platform agnostic approach, where you don't put your eggs in one basket because you never know what will happen.
Well,
YouTube
no,
right
I mean that would be smart.
Place. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's I
don't think it's
not really sketchy. It's just that they're going back to the way it was.
Yes, and I personally like that because I told Tom one of the reasons I wanted to go to Twitch for multiple reasons. One, I think the streaming platform is better because it's what it's built on. Versus
There's better
YouTube.
discoverability for live channels on Twitch. Better discoverability for recorded stuff on YouTube,
which is why we're doing what we're doing now. And like I've tried Mixer, and I just never really got Mixer. But I know people went from YouTube to Twitch to Mixer, and they found their home on Mixer. That's just their platform that they focus on, but they are still doing things on others as well, just to keep it out. It's like social media in general.
Yeah,
you should be on Instagram, you should be on Twitter.
There's a few people I know that left Twitch to go to Mixer when Mixer was still Beam.
Back before Microsoft. No, did Microsoft own them at that point?
And, well, Microsoft bought them and then rebranded.
Switched to Mixer. Yeah.
But my advice would be look at the numbers.
Okay.
Well,
just look at how many people are on our platform.
That's like VidMe too.
Do you just want to like fuck the game off and keep talking, or do you want to do the game?
Let's just keep going. We're gonna do the game. The game was Roller Coaster Tycoon.
How often? The game was Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah, would you have gotten that?
Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So that's because I think this chat is more important than what we have on here. So okay, so you're at where you're at now, and you're doing really well, and we're super happy and proud for you. And the question, I guess, comes back to this because me and Keegan have been doing this for a while.
Almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years on the 5th.
And we've been, at this point, we have been strictly YouTube. We did do a brief stint here and there on like VidMe. We tried to throw a few things
which is
up
gone
there.
now.
Is it really?
Yeah, VidMe shut down.
Wow.
It was funny because like a bunch of like I'm in content
Hmm.
creation groups all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people from this one group went to VidMe saying it's the savior, it's the anti-YouTube. And I was like, it's cool. Like we put the stuff up there that YouTube blocked is what we used it for.
Yeah, because they had no copyright stuff on there.
And then
which could still get you sued.
Yeah.
Well,
we're fine, I think.
Well, it doesn't exist anymore. So.
But it's funny because like people I switched to VidMe, they stopped YouTube, and now VidMe's dead, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna come back to YouTube. I was like, that's what I was trying to tell you. Don't abandon a platform just because something new and shiny comes out. Wait to see if it's established and figure out where you.
Well, it's not necessarily waiting to see. It's just making sure that you're still making content somewhere else.
Yeah.
So one thing we're thinking about doing together. As a trio, or maybe even more if we bring some folks in, is potentially doing a panel based upon the differences between YouTube and Twitch. Hoping to put something together for something in the future. Hopefully Indie PopCon, but you know,
the goal.
You have to kind of get voted in, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, we got voted in last year, and it scared the shit out of me because I was not prepared for that panel.
So
100, I think it was 102 people showed up.
Yeah, don't look at the numbers. Just make sure that there's enough.
I expected like
enough
6
bright lights to.
I expected 6, and then the room was filled, and I was like, "Ooh, Jesus!"
It was definitely nerve-wracking, but it was a big experience for us because as a smaller channel that maybe has less traction, but we're definitely trending up at this point. Like everything we're doing is getting a little bit more. We're not anywhere near where we want to be, but that's good because it gives us something to strive for. So you definitely took a faster path than we did to getting to where you're at right now.
Mostly by really long days and predominantly focused on Twitch.
Okay. So to people that are listening or watching, what were your hi? What
people are watching?
Right? Yeah.
Cut.
What would you say are good kind of, I guess, habits to get into, but also like
don't burn yourself out.
Yeah, like what kind of what advice do you have for them? Because as a path forward, our whole panel last year was the struggles of a small YouTuber and how to overcome them. We want to bring Twitch in more this year just because we love the platform. We didn't dedicate nearly enough time to it when we tried it the first time around, and this time we're kind of.
I think the big thing is I don't understand Twitch.
Right.
Like I'm so comfortable. YouTube is my comfort
thankfully,
food.
you live in a metro area that has a very active Twitch.
That's why I'm
Right.
excited to meet people and just understand the platform more.
Make sure you have cards.
Changed. Yeah, I've got those. I was like,
we have to add Twitch to them.
Yeah.
Because all of our business cards.
Just write them in by hand. Like I'm check marking the verified because
Get a little gulp pen.
Yeah.
I have new cards designed. It's just that I want to
need
actually use the cards that I have.
Right.
I still have like 200.
you've got we need to get them for this weekend too.
I got plenty.
Wizard World this weekend. St.
So
Louis. Some dude said he wants to meet us. That was
What?
cool.
yeah, that was weird. So anyway,
Yeah, it's real weird.
So what's your kind of take on it in terms of like because
Are you just starting out?
It was a unique.
Is this the
Huh?
how do you start?
Yeah, let's start with how do you start. Yeah, let's start there.
I would literally tell you to start on YouTube first.
Think so?
Yeah,
Before you get to Twitch.
because you get if you're like, I want to make a video. Here's what I want to do. I want to end up with a community around this. I want to start right now. I would say make 6 months of content on YouTube.
You'll learn a lot about yourself.
But like, start making it now and have some stuff released in the future. Sorry, I'm pointing to the table.
No, that's fine. But do you think so? You think VODs are the way to start, or do you think live is the way to start? Because you started live. But we
I started
VODs.
live, and well, I mean, I'm much better live. Like I'm much better
freak out
live.
I freak
than
out
I am in like recording. Like I'll just run through it, but lately my stuff on YouTube has been more artful as opposed to we're gonna play this game together, or we're gonna have this discussion. Like my City Skylines stuff has been more cinematic approach, nice little drone flyover of something that's been detailed to the nth degree. So it's much different than just let's play City Skylines, and today we're going to buy a new tile.
50,000 of them.
Right, and and that's great and that's awesome. But I would tell you that if you are on YouTube and you're making a few videos, like don't waste your time in 6 months of just making one series, but kind of feel out your different like what you want to do. But
Took us 2.5 years to figure that one out.
you're right, and that's fine. But if your ultimate goal is to do live content and a little bit of recording, make some recordings first. Because what happens is people will find your video on YouTube, and in the little corner of the video it will say now live on Twitch. Click here. They will click here and see you live. So you're getting people to go from one site to another, and then it goes back from Twitch over to YouTube. Hey, I just put that tutorial up on Twitch. Great. Or I just put this play over on YouTube. Great. Especially when you're in a live conversation. So if somebody says, how do you start a city? Normally I point them out to my friend, or I say, just go to YouTube and you can see my Let's Play. But
See, I found it interesting because, like, I watch City Skylines. Do you know who Conflict Nerd is? I follow him because I love his creative series way more than, like, his normal Let's Plays. Like, I've not been watching... He did the Emerald County one a while ago, and it's one of my favorite things he's ever done because it's something I would not do personally in the game, but it is fucking fantastic where he goes through and does that kind of stuff. And, like, it's funny because you're, like, on YouTube, you're like, I do flyovers. I was like, yeah, that makes... Because if you type in City Skylines Let's Plays, you're going to get a bajillion of them. And they're all very much the same.
Well, I would start out with a tutorial, so you get discoverability.
How to make a PSN forum PSN account, Tom.
Well, but tutorials don't get you subscribers.
No, they get people coming to your channel.
But you get views from it, which means your content gets ranked higher the next time you put something else up there because more people have watched your stuff.
Maybe that's what happened because we decided to go ahead. Well, we put together a mini series on how to make a foreign account for PSN for Hong Kong, China, Australia, etc.
Right, so they can play with the United States.
Well, not just that, with the goal being that to get the free PSVR content that was only being released in those countries. Because like Hong Kong does like English language versions of Asian only games.
Right.
So you could get a game from there. You could either buy like a card on PlayAsia and get it, or you could get the free demos or whatever it might be. So we made these videos because we were doing that, and we were recording those games, and we were like reviewing those games, and people were like, how the fuck are you getting these games? So put up a series. It's
our #1 series.
Are our highest ranking.
Well, right, because the
views count, right?
Right, because you raise through, like, how do I do this?
If you type in how to make a Hong Kong PSN account, we are the #1 video on YouTube for that right now.
Right.
So that is doing like 3,000-4,000 views. But
it's over
because we did that,
you're going to see other growth because you have more traffic, and that's like it's an internal algorithm. It's also like the basics of Twitch is if I have 10 viewers, I'm ahead of the list of people that have 2, right? Or if I have 110, I'm ahead of the people that have 80. So ultimately, discoverability is at the top. But people always make this kind of false claim is that people don't ever scroll down.
That's not true.
Well, that's
I do that.
Not true at all. Because I scroll down. And
see, for me, it's funny because you talk about people being part of small communities a lot of times, and I don't know if it's just my content creator mind or what, but there's times like I've been watching lots of Overwatch on Twitch, and I'll go through and because the top one's always like 1,000 or whatever.
Right.
I'll go down to like 50 or maybe even lower than that and be like, who's down here?
Right. Well, the people on that range are really good at their craft. They're also good at playing the game, but they're also having a conversation. Somebody with 1,000 might not necessarily be having a conversation with the chat. They're playing the game and talking about the game.
They're probably quite good at the
game. So you're going
it's like
to
the
a different expert.
They're doing,
Right. So, somebody, a league champion having 30-some-odd thousand people on their channel, they're not really talking about what you have for breakfast. They're talking about, here's how I did this.
Yeah. They're showing off.
Very different reasons.
Different audiences as well, because there are some people that want to know what you have for breakfast.
Well, the league person, right, because I want to know. We're always having coffee together, so why not what was for breakfast? But, that league person also will go check out other people, but just because somebody's tuned into that channel doesn't mean that they don't enjoy other stuff.
Right.
So it's something that you have to kind of get out of your head. Like, well, these people only enjoy one game. I'm only going to play one game. That's also a trap for a content creator.
Yeah, I know channels that are stuck, or not stuck, but if they play something else, they immediately just. And I'll tell you, I don't want to say who it is on air, but I got a specific example I can show you.
Well, it's just, I mean, it happens to me, but I play remotely basically 3 games, and occasionally I'll dive into something else. And as far as like feelings of partner, the answer to that is freedom. Well, I'm not like stressed. Like, oh my god, I had a really low day. There was only 70 people average. I'm in the middle of applying for partnership. What is this going to do for my 30-day total? Oh my god, I just went down an entire 5 points. I'm right at like 85. My app is out there. They're going to say no.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god,
it's
like
when
you say no, right? So there's like that stress. So you get locked into a game for a duration, and then
it's doing well
you started to like build on that, and then suddenly it's like, well, I don't necessarily have to play this game anymore. And people will usually, a newer partner will usually hear stuff like, oh, well, you're just not going to play that game anymore now, are you? I just played it last week. What are you talking about?
So you feel like you can add more things into the rotation when you have the success of being a partner, because you don't have to.
I don't have to.
You don't have to worry about getting to the goal.
Right.
Well, it's like it's a midway point.
Yeah.
Is there a higher position than partner?
Probably.
Well, I can't tell you about it because I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, I can tell you. I'll tell you YouTube, because I know how YouTube functions, and I can talk about it because fuck YouTube at this point. When it comes to this kind of stuff. No. But this is I know, but this is public information. So when you become a partner on YouTube, there's 3 types of partners. There's the partner, which is what we are, where you get monetization, custom thumbnails, all that kind of stuff. There's then verified partner, that then it's the different tier. So I think that's at 100,000. You get your play button, and you get access to different things, and you can see it on their website with the different tiers. But at 100,000, you get, again, access directly to somebody at YouTube that's an account manager, or whatever the fuck they call them.
Right. And then, to handle, like, well, you kind of screwed the pooch on this one, please fix hey, can you help me
Then they have the million ones, which are the ones that get premium ads. So that's where that comes in. So anybody, usually a million plus, have access to that premium ad campaign if they fit it. So those are the basic tiers. There's way more than that inside of it that gives you extra things as you go along. But those are the four basic tiers. You have the partner that just gives monetization. You have the check mark, which is the big one, the verified one, which is 100,000. I think you get something at 10,000 as well. I can't remember what it is. And then you get 10,000 gives you access to the spaces. If you have 10,000 subscribers, you get access to the YouTube spaces to use it for creation.
So,
and then 1 million is.
As a side note, I was just thinking about this because I watch a lot of CS:GO, Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And
he tries to be Counter-Strike good.
I'm not good at it. I don't claim to be, but I love watching it. It's like a super obsession of mine. And one of the biggest players in the world right now is a guy from Brazil called Fallen. And he said that at a certain point, he realized he'd been playing this, because this game's been out since 1998. So he's like, at some point, I realized I've been playing this game for like 15 years,
right.
You know, whatever. Like, and I was getting bored of it. And even though they do incremental updates here and there, like it's still like a situation where
it's still the same
playing
game.
that game for so long, despite the fact that every match is different, can get boring. Are you worried that you're going to get bored of City Skylines or Planet Coaster, or are you just like waiting for other things to come out?
4,000 hours in City Skylines. Yeah,
crazy.
it's close. If it's not there, it's going to be
do
there
you
like
just
within
wait for
like
City
a couple weeks.
Skylines 2, or do you know?
Well, City Skylines has done a bunch of DLC too and the mods, but
Right.
yeah,
Well, there's always like
it's always something.
there's always something on the horizon as far as like City Skylines has DLC coming out. Planet Coaster's got usually some DLC coming out.
The DLC will only take you so far. You know
Well,
what I
it
mean?
could add different gameplay mechanics.
Yeah,
So like mass
City-
transit
Yeah.
added some like a lot of different options for your transit, but then
what was the
Green
day,
Cities.
What was the day-night one? That one was cool to me because you had the leisure section and all that. That one was one that got me excited.
After Dark.
Yeah, when they added that, I was like, thank you, because it was cool to have like you had to worry about power and all this kind of stuff. Like you can't just solar power unless you banked it up.
Right. So they always
added
add that.
tweaks to it.
I might more struggle for an idea that is
Just run out of things
different
to do.
than what I've done
Right.
in the moment, and I might do something, and then like later, I'll be like, oh, I could do this, and I'll draw it out, and then I'll have it for like the next day. Hey, this is gonna work better. Let's do it. Done. Instead of a little roundabout, because there's tricks. There's things where the traffic can work better or not work better.
Traffic in City Skylines is a fun thing to deal with once your city hits a certain limit.
Yeah.
The AI is. That's why Traffic Manager.
I
is
won't
nice.
tell you, will I ever get bored of it? I mean, if you do something enough, you're going to get tired of it. But, I mean, it's such a different game, so every map has, like I make my own map, start to finish. Like, I made this landmass, I made all this water. Right now I'm playing on an island. The only way you can get to it is through boat at the moment. So I can't really put it on the workshop because it doesn't qualify for a road connection because you have to have a road connection. In fact, there's an island off camera with a road that loops back out. Like, don't even come here. Not with your car. Get your car out of here, damn it. And, I mean, that's different because last time I played on an island, I ran a road, like sneakily ran a road through a chain to get to the bigger island to work on that island. And then the other island on that map, I built a nice bridge that had nice views, or like it looked really cool. So I did something different with that. So this is like purely not even connected. With Planet Coaster, there's always a theme that I probably haven't explored. Like, as much as I played that game, which is over 1,000 hours, I haven't explored every game. I have not made a pirate theme park. I've made pirate stuff in a park,
but not a full.
but I've not made a pirate theme park, or I've not made a fantasy theme park. Right now, the spotlight that I have this week for Planet Coaster on Twitch, on the front page with a bunch of content creators, we're doing Escape Winter with an Adventure. And the Adventure DLC came out right before Christmas. And this is us building a park collectively. So that's a different take. I could sit in my own studio and I could build my own park with all of my own work. But I want to do it collectively, which brings more ideas to the table. And that's a different twist.
When you do that, do you talk to people off air about what your ideas are before you do it, or do you just is it kind of one of those things like it's like the game where I start the sentence, you finish the sentence, and then I go based off what was said after that sentence?
So before somebody is in the spotlight, I have to make sure that they're comfortable with being on the front page. So I will watch people for like hours on end until my eyes are dry. Like just making sure that
They know what
they're
they're getting
entertaining.
into.
They're able to. You're right. Like
Because it could be intimidating.
if you grow to 1,000 people, concurrent 1,000 people over the span of years is much different than suddenly having
a bunch of
1,000 or more people that have never met you in your chat. So you have to be.
That's like I said, when we used to get rated by One Shot Girl, we would hit over 100 people, and it's just like, oh shit, what's going on? Because we're used to 5 to 10, and then all of a sudden you're over 100, and you're like, what do? I gotta be entertaining. Oh shit. Like
Right. Well, I mean, and it's like a raid, a raid, they might not stay.
Yeah.
They may stay.
Well,
most people, when I end, most people are getting ready to leave for work or leave work. So they're probably not going to stay in that channel.
Yeah.
Even though I rated them, they might stay for 30 minutes.
I was gonna say, we usually, from my experience, it's usually been about like 5 to 10% will hang out for the rest of that stream, and who knows how many of them will actually come back after that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's also about
But that also depends on-
talking about, hey, if you really enjoy the content,
and
follow
audiences.
the channel.
I mean, the other thing with her specifically with some of those raids is her audience is way different than our audience. She has a lot of younger people watching her. We have our age watching us, which is two different.
Yeah, those One Shot Girl fans got a nasty shock when they came to our
Yeah,
stream.
because she's very family friendly. We she doesn't cuss, that kind of thing. We drop F-bombs. Like we've never been one to kind of hold back, because this is who we are.
Right. Now, I will make decisions when I raid somebody, like, well, which people do I have at the moment? And if I'm going to somewhere where it's more of a mature, then it's usually because I don't have...
As many of the younglings.
Right. I mean, but I'm on the daytime in the United States.
Yeah.
And people will certainly help raid, and they'll just bug out. But, I mean, that's also fine.
Just nice to it feels nice to have one of your friends, like, because even though like yesterday I was like all over the damn place trying to figure all this stuff out and playing terribly and everything, it was nice to have a little tiny raid that came in with like 8 people, but one of them was super active in the chat. I forget his name. It was like Real Cyber Cypher, I think was his name. And he was giving me shit for like my bad gameplay, but he was doing it tongue in cheek, and he was like, "It's been really fun watching you fall down a lot," and that kind of stuff. And I
Kappa. Don't forget the Kappa. It doesn't hurt if you have Kappa after that sentence.
So I really enjoyed having at least someone to engage with, even if it was for a brief period of time, and even though I was having like the worst day on there. So it was yeah, I think raids are important. And like I said, even if they don't stick around, it's kind of nice just to.
But see, that's the difference between. So you start out making some videos, and you help build that, because that's also working when you're sleeping.
True.
I can't be live on Twitch 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Good.
Probably kill yourself, right? It's like you will
People
die.
try.
Sleep cam setup.
Well, that's
People have tried.
That's
Real Big Brother.
well, that's a TOS problem. You should not be asleep on stream.
Yeah.
Our
But
24-hour live streams would fly.
well, you could tag
Well,
team.
yeah. You just have somebody there.
Yeah. I mean,
My favorite stream I watched, somebody went to bed and they've got to turn their, I'm assuming it's OBS or whatever they're running, off, and it's just their bedroom. And I was like, this is real creepy. And the chat was still going like, are they coming back? And I was like, nope, they went to bed.
I was
It was great.
I was suspended in 2017.
what for?
Did you leave your cam
saying
on?
thank you.
Oh.
My thank you scene was up.
Oh.
Non-gaming content.
Oh.
25 hours. It was 24, but it takes like an hour.
Yeah.
But
That's dumb.
thankfully, it was on a day I was supposed to stream on another channel, because I was streaming on Wednesdays on another channel, because that was like the schedule, and I was able to stream and then go do a doctor's appointment, and my blood pressure was high, and they're like don't worry about it. It'll go down. And I was like, what did I do? What on earth did I do? And it's like, well, I streamed thank you because OBS failed to quit like it was supposed to.
Yeah.
And I mean, it happens, right? It's going to happen. But I would say if you're going to start out today, make video content, and then when you're ready, do one day a week where I'm going to stream live and stick to that schedule. If you could do 6 o'clock at night, do 6 o'clock at night. And if you could do it for 4 hours, awesome.
9 p.m. on Sunday
Do you
for
think
3 hours.
Do you think the length of your live stream is super important?
Yes.
Why?
Because, so notifications are not always instant.
Okay.
So within that first hour, people still might be seeing that email, and they still might, they're live.
Yeah. Refresh.
Okay.
Oh, I'm here.
So the longer you're there, the more likely people are to show up.
Right. So notifications, they in theory go out the moment you hit the button.
Okay.
In theory, but people have lives.
That's how yours do. Fucking get it every time.
Right. I mean, yeah.
Even with you though, like yesterday when you're going through and flipping it on and off, it was probably a 5 to 10 minute delay between when you would text me and when Twitch would say, "Hey, he's live again. Manage this." And I was like, "What?" So yeah, I'd get your text before I got the Twitch notification. So,
But I mean, it takes like
Yeah.
Twitter, right? I'm scrolling through my Twitter. Oh, they're live. Click. Well, that's 3 hours after you tweeted it. Well, if you only had a 2-hour stream,
it's game over.
Fair enough.
Because I try to do for
the
Sundays, we
sweet
try to do
spot
till
is
midnight.
about 4 hours. If you're looking to grow between 3 and 4, I would say try to hit 5 to 6. Because if I show up at hour 4 and you're leaving, sorry, I'll try to catch you next time. If you have a schedule and I know that schedule, I can always come back to it. It's like your favorite TV show. Even though we don't really watch TV like we used to, we still know that Wheel of Fortune is on at 6 o'clock in the night.
You also know that the full season of Stranger Things 2 goes live this day. Then you can watch the whole thing.
And you request off work to do it.
So we still do it, kind of. Just
right, you
binge.
know that something, and then we consume content in a very different way.
But it's the same principle with knowing when things are going to happen.
Right, or you know that 3 months from now you bought movie tickets for this release at this time. You know what you're going to do. So if I'm in love with a content creator, which I know a lot of people's schedules, it's like I know that they should be there, and if I show up and they're not there, I'm like,
what happened?
What happened? How? And then I immediately go to Twitter.
My brain is wired differently. I don't know what it is about me, but like, because you two like seem to be so on this kind of train of thought.
Hey,
of, like,
you know those links I send you? If you read those, you would be on it more.
No,
just saying.
Not in that way. I just mean like when you're like, because you two are both honed in to like watching certain people at certain times. Like you know when they're going to be there, like you said, and then you'll turn up and you'll have
Tube and Monkey.
I'm so random with the way that I approach this. Like I just don't think like, and I like having it. Like I like our set schedule for what we do, but when it comes to other people, like it's kind of like hit or miss as to what to show up.
But you still watch TV.
Well, not TV. I mean, I watch.
Because I watch. So even like for me, and I'm sure you know this, but for me, YouTube is my TV. Twitch is now my TV.
I think that's the difference.
Overwatch League. Yeah. I'm wearing Fusion shit still. Overwatch League is every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And if I'm off, I see what games I can watch. If I'm working, I see what games I missed to then go watch the VODs or go watch the replay of that Twitch stream from Overwatch League. So I know tomorrow at 4 p.m. there's going to be 4 p.m. there's going to be a Philly Fusion match that I'm going to go watch on Twitch. Doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm watching on the app. I'm going to watch on my
I guess
TV,
it's just the creator aspect of it, because like you'll watch that, but that makes sense to me because that's an esport and that has millions of views. Whereas like a channel like ours, where there's like 45 people that are following the Twitch account right now, I feel like that for those 45 people, I can't see that they would be. I don't want to say the word desperate. That doesn't sound right. But they would be
surprised.
Yeah, that's the part that I don't get.
We'll get it.
I had less than 100 followers, and I still had people waiting.
Really?
And that was the best feeling ever.
Yeah, I mean, how many
especially
times?
when I wasn't feeling well, and I said, "Hey, I could really use some love today."
Yeah.
And then before I went live, they're filling up chat with love. It's like, and then I hit the button. It's like, let's go.
Let's do this.
Let's rock this. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Let's make some beautiful stuff.
I mean, how many times have we missed a video and somebody said, "Hey, where's the video?" We've had that happen a few times.
I feel like it's mostly just Dave.
Well, there's other people. So you're not as tuned in though on like Discord and all that kind of stuff. No, it happens, and I think you just don't see it because you're not there in those communities. I've seen it on Twitter and I've seen it on Discord mainly is where I see it come in because those are the two I'm in. Facebook not as much because Facebook's just, I don't know how I feel about Facebook pages at this point. It feels weird, but it happens. There's people like if we miss something or if we say something that's wrong and we do something else, like people will catch you on it and they will know.
I feel like that's Dave too.
He does that too. But there,
Well, I had
people that do
DMs
it.
today like, why are you not on my stream my screen today? And it's like, well, I have this
doing
like
a thing.
podcast that I'm on that we talked about.
Share the link with them when we're done.
Well, obviously, but
Look at
you know,
Tom.
and it's like, I mean, and it's okay, and I
Yeah.
get it. But the fact is that somebody was there
Somebody's waiting for
and
you.
I'm not there.
Mhm.
One, it makes me feel bad because like, well, they're expecting
We're
to see
sorry,
me.
whoever it was. that was
They're
waiting
expecting
for
to see me. Well, they'll see me.
today.
They'll
see
see
you.
me
In a couple days.
In a couple
But
days.
They'll see you over
that
a
she
couple
was
days.
actually here doing a podcast and not just like sat at home watching.
You'll
Netflix.
watch this. You can watch her today, or you can go back 2 days and watch her on Indie Please Eye Details.
Yeah, maybe.
We should probably wrap it. I think, but
I don't know.
wanted
Is there
to
other questions?
give
I mean,
you. Yeah, right. We peppered the crap out of
how
you with
often
that.
do you get like to hang out?
What
Us?
do you mean? Us? You? Well, no. Yeah, I mean,
like,
no.
us?
Trust me, there's way more.
We've been trying to get you on the show for a while.
Yeah.
What you guys
Well,
don't know is
Our
it was
schedules
part
are
of us.
patchy.
I had I'm sure
I
you're
could
aware,
change my
I had a
schedule.
really shitty last 6
I know,
months.
yeah.
So that kind of, this guy carried my ass. 2018 has been way better. So I'm happy this has finally happened because we've been working on this for a long ass time. And it finally got to the point where I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I
And
text
you're
you.
always welcome back
Yes.
for more peppering. So I guess what do you want to?
That's salting, I guess.
So let's
Salty.
let's say what do you want to say? What do you want to say to people that might be
I
watching
don't know what
this?
I wanna
Either
say,
your
that's the
fans
problem.
or our
Tom
fans.
does this to me all the
time. Like even if you just want
I
to
don't
like pimp your
stream.
stuff.
What are you
whatever.
talking about?
Yeah, pimp your stuff. If you want to be a player, but your wheels ain't fly, hit us up.
Watch
So pimp out your
_,
Twitch.
Ezilii.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at Twitter.
Ezilii
the
spelled
Twitter.
easy.
Actually, just
I-L-I.
go to easylii.com.
Picture
Oh,
everybody.
you have everything linked on there.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
You can even watch me through there.
All the time.
Do the embed.
Constant live.
That's what we need to do.
That would
we
be
have a
like-
website. We've
That
talked
would
about
be
it.
crazy.
She was part of the first website conversation, what, like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And that thing's still not doing anything.
Well,
Well,
we
I
have
didn't-
it.
I didn't
We
make
just
this
haven't
one.
done
No.
anything to it, yeah.
We didn't really make it either. We used a template and it's not done yet.
Well, no, like literally, like,
Oh.
hey, have a website.
Oh, sweet. Got it.
Thank you.
Cool.
I appreciate that. I mean, that's
That's like what-
really awesome, and I really.
From one of your community members, because we've had that happen. That's how our Discord happened. Blue was like, hey, I made a Discord for you guys. We're like, what the fuck is... Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, and that's awesome.
the best
But
part
just go
about
to the
being
website. You'll probably have it linked down below. You can get a hold of me there.
Awesome sauce.
Hey, do you have anything else, Tom?
I do.
He says this to me every time I go, nope. One of these times I'm going
He never
to.
has anything to say. One of these days he's just gonna like let rip. But I would like
That's
to
disgusting.
not that kind of let
You,
rip.
I mean, you have no idea.
Although the beef jerky is
I
eating
have
peanuts.
peanuts
today.
now. I used to do beef jerky and Red
It
Bull, and
was
it's a bad
this,
combination.
Yeah,
this
please
basement
don't.
doesn't have the best like
Ventilation.
airflow.
We're in a basement.
I mean, the studio doesn't have the best airflow. As you can see, there's no windows. But I would like to personally thank Miss Ezilii for coming on to the show twice, two podcasts this week, and for letting us just like hammer you with questions, because I know that you are very well put together when it comes to your thoughts on things like Twitch and YouTube and stuff like that. You also have a bucket load of knowledge that we've been like in between podcasts. We've been just like, how do we change this? Like, and just
I
trying to
learned
get
how
us-
what reruns were.
garner as
Yeah,
much.
today you learned
Yeah, I
what
learned what
reruns
reruns were.
Garner as much
Reruns
information as
and
we
and
can.
what premieres were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned. I don't know Twitch. Like,
So
yeah,
we're gonna get learned. But thank you for coming on
Yeah, you're welcome.
and discussing this with us. Hopefully, we can put something together for a panel, either a Pixel Pop or Indie or both or whatever.
Why not all of them?
But you stream on pretty much every weekday.
Monday through
point?
Friday, typically. There's a couple like charity events I'm doing that are kind of still unannounced that'll happen on a weekend. But
Okay.
yeah, Monday through Friday starting 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m.
EST.
GMT.
And you also are currently, and probably will still be by the time this goes up on Friday, be on the front page of Twitch.
I was only on the front page on Monday.
Oh, okay. So you were on the front page, but you were doing a collaborative.
Right, everybody else is doing. So I've got somebody should be on there right now as of this recording.
But as part of the same project.
right.
Gotcha. I'm with you.
But when you guys see this, it'll
Friday.
be
Dunzo.
done.
Gotcha.
Can you watch
because
the
the last
VOD
person.
of the front? Well, I guess it'd be on your channel.
Yeah.
They watch the VOD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, so
a
when
big
you're on the
one
front
to me.
page, you have to play stuff that you have the rights to play, which
Yeah.
is usually game music, unless
Right.
you pay somebody lots
Money.
of money.
Yep.
Because you can't play, I mean,
Can't play.
you can't take my VOD and then show it to somebody else. I also can't take your music and play it for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a
public space.
gray, not gray area.
Yeah.
But Twitch has a thing where it mutes your VOD. It kind of case closed because it's, but I mean, in reality, we should honor some of that stuff.
Copyright.
But we need to also catch up to the modern time. The current copyright law is a little outdated.
Agreed. Yeah, so that is your Level 2 podcast, episode 55.
55.
Yeah, right?
Can't drive. 55. Speaking of copyright, they won't hit me with copyright. I can't fucking sing.
You
It's
gotta
fine.
hit the right
yeah.
notes before they can get you a copyright.
Oh my goodness! Watch, you did by accident. Because
Dude, if that
What is
happened,
it,
I would.
Hagar,
If,
right? That's
yeah,
it,
same Hagar.
Hagar.
If we get copyrighted for my singing ability, that will be the day that I quit YouTube.
It's like the biggest compliment you'll
Yeah.
ever get. But
Be
thank
done
you
at
guys
that
as
point.
well for listening
Thanks,
and or
guys.
watching, depending on where you're at. So if you're listening to the podcast, hopefully you learned a lot about content creation, whether on Twitch or YouTube. And if you're watching, you got to see our lovely faces and learn the same stuff. So
speak for yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think we all have lovely faces here
On Thursdays.
So thank you so much for watching,
Is that your business hat?
and as always.
Welcome to the second level. Bye.
It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.